chapa, ¿no? Tuve la suerte de conseguir todos los sueños a nivel...
Argentina are alive!
His name is probably Lionel Messi.
You know why Messi's the best player I ever seen in my life?
I mean, I said it before, it's like playing PlayStation. You give...
We shared this stage 15 years, me and him.
This is Lionel Messi, a genius, a champion, an icon, a player who spent nearly 2 decades redefining what football could look like. And these are the players, legends, rivals, coaches, and teammates who spoke about him. Let's watch. Football has always produced superstars, players who score goals, players who win trophies, players who dominate headlines. But every generation produces someone different, someone who forces even the greatest players in the world to stop and simply admire. For many people, that player was Lionel Messi. And perhaps the most fascinating thing about Messi's story isn't what fans think about him. It's what football itself thinks about him. Because when footballers were asked about Messi, the answers were often surprisingly similar. Amazement, respect, disbelief, and sometimes even surrender. Messi arrived in professional football looking nothing like the traditional superstar. He wasn't physically imposing. He wasn't loud. He wasn't intimidating. He didn't dominate the room with his presence. Instead, he dominated the pitch with a football. And very quickly, other professionals realized they were watching something unusual. Not good. Not great. Different. The greatest compliment in football often comes from teammates. Because they see everything. The training sessions. The small details. The things cameras never capture. And Barcelona teammates repeatedly described the same thing. Messi could do things that nobody else could. Every day. Not once. Not occasionally. Every single day. What separated Messi wasn't only technique. Thousands of players possess technique. It wasn't only speed. Many players are faster. It wasn't only finishing. Many players score goals. It was the combination. The complete package. The ability to dribble through 5 defenders and then calmly place the ball into the corner. The ability to see passes nobody else could see. The ability to slow down time. When legends speak about Messi, one phrase appears again and again. He makes difficult things look easy. And perhaps that's why people underestimated his greatness. Because brilliance became normal. The impossible became expected. The extraordinary became routine. Week after week, year after year, defenders knew exactly what Messi wanted to do. They studied him, prepared for him, built entire tactical plans around stopping him, and still failed. Again, and again, and again. Imagine knowing the answer to the test, and still failing. That was the Messi experience for many defenders. The football world wasn't witnessing a player performing tricks. It was witnessing a player solving football, and the rest of the game struggled to keep up. Respect from teammates is expected. Respect from coaches is understandable. But respect from rivals? That means something different. Because rivals have every reason not to praise you. And yet some of football's fiercest competitors couldn't help themselves when Messi's name appeared. For over a decade, Messi terrorized opponents. He broke hearts, ended title races, destroyed defensive plans, and created unforgettable nightmares. But instead of bitterness, many rivals spoke with admiration. Think about that for a moment. Years of battles, years of rivalry, years of conflict. Yet when the rivalry ended, respect remained. Because greatness leaves an impression, even on those who suffered because of it. Goalkeepers often delivered some of the most revealing comments. They understood the challenge better than anyone. Against most players, a goalkeeper has options. Against Messi, options disappeared. Buffon faced generations of elite attackers. World champions, Ballon d'Or winners, icons. And yet Messi still stood apart. That tells a story. Because when one legend recognizes another, football listens. Across Europe, the verdict remained remarkably consistent. Messi wasn't simply difficult to stop. He was unique, a problem without a solution, an equation without an answer. And that is why rivals often sounded more like fans than opponents. Because eventually admiration became unavoidable. No conversation about Messi remains simple for long. Eventually, every discussion reaches the same destination. The debate. The biggest debate football has ever seen. Messi or Ronaldo? For more than 15 years, football lived through a rivalry unlike anything before it. Two players, two legends, two completely different paths to greatness. One dominated through relentless ambition and physical excellence. The other through imagination and natural genius. And football became divided. What made the rivalry special wasn't hatred. It was excellence. Each player pushed the other higher. Each success demanded a response. Each trophy increased the pressure. And fans around the world witnessed history in real time. When former players entered the debate, opinions varied. Some preferred Ronaldo's mentality. Others preferred Messi's creativity. But one argument appeared repeatedly. Messi seemed capable of things nobody else could imagine. Even among those who respected Ronaldo immensely, many still describe Messi as football's most gifted player. Not necessarily the hardest worker, not necessarily the strongest athlete, but perhaps the purest football talent ever seen. And that's why the debate endured. Because both sides had evidence. Both sides had trophies. Both sides had records. Yet football never stopped arguing. Maybe because football didn't want the conversation to end. Maybe because generations rarely receive two legends at the same time. And maybe because deep down, everyone knew they were witnessing something that would never happen again. One criticism followed Messi for years. People questioned his leadership. They looked at his quiet personality and assumed he lacked influence. But leadership doesn't always sound loud. Sometimes leadership speaks through actions. Messi never tried to become somebody else. He never became the dressing room comedian. He never became the emotional speechmaker. He remained himself, quiet, focused, driven. And over time, teammates began explaining what the public couldn't see. Leadership can take many forms. Some leaders inspire through words. Others inspire through standards. Messi belonged to the second group. When teammates saw him training, competing, sacrificing, recovering, winning, they followed. Not because they were told to, because they wanted to. For years, international success seemed impossible. Final defeats arrived. Criticism intensified. Pressure increased. Every tournament felt heavier than the last. And eventually, the burden became enormous. Then came redemption. Copa America. Finalissima. World Cup. Those victories changed the conversation forever. The questions disappeared. The doubts faded. The criticism lost its power. Because Messi had completed football, club football, international football, individual awards, team trophies, everything. And perhaps the most impressive part was how he handled the pressure. Not with anger, not with arrogance, but with patience. He simply continued, year after year, until success arrived. Eventually, every football career reaches the same destination. Memory. The goals remain. The trophies remain. The highlights remain. But what survives longest are the stories people tell. And when football talks about Messi, the stories become extraordinary. Players describe moments that sound impossible. Coaches describe challenges that felt unsolvable. Fans describe memories they will never forget. And legends describe a player who changed the sport. Generations will debate rankings forever. That will never end. Football loves arguments. Football loves comparisons. Football love impossible questions. But some things are beyond debate. Lionel Messi inspirait millions. He entertained billions. And he earned the respect of almost everyone who shared the game with him. That might be his greatest achievement. Because trophies can be counted. Goals can be counted. Records can be counted. Respect cannot. Respect must be earned. And Messi earned it from teammates. From opponents. From coaches. From legends. From football itself. Maybe that's why so many interviews about Messi feel similar. The names change. The accents change. The generations change. But the message stays the same. They saw greatness. They witnessed history. And they knew it. While it was happening. This was Lionel Messi. The magician. The champion. The legend. And one of the greatest footballers the world has ever seen. If not the greatest. Tell me in the comments. Which football legend should we cover next? And don't forget to subscribe. Because every legend has a story.